Good evening. Hey, everyone doing today? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Simon J. Spirit Divine. We give you a word on tonight. And this is Joshua, installed as leader after Moses. Now, the Moses did his part, and Joshua was working closer under Moses. God had him work on closer under Moses because made him next in line. Now he was noticed by God because when they had to go out with spies, he came back. No matter how big and giant those people was in that land, he said, "We can take them. We can take them." They're just like David. No matter how big that giant was, he had confidence that he can take it, and that's how Joshua was. Joshua said, "We can take that." We can take it. He wasn't looking at how big that was. And see, that's what God look at you. You gonna always have giants coming against you. But you got to have confidence in God that you can do it. You know? And so this gonna come from Joshua 1, chapter 1, verse 1 to 18. So now this is the death, the death of Moses. And now Joshua had been training with Moses. And so Joshua was Moses' assistant, and he served as a military field, commander. So I will give you every place where you set your foot out, as the promise of Moses. Now see, everything he had promised to Moses, he promised to Joshua. Joshua is going to be a leader. So God telling him, whatever place, you set your foot out, you're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed. As I promised to Moses, I promised to you. Now Joshua had the Israelite after him, he must set foot in the land, and fight for the inheritance. And see, that's what it is. God not just, I'm fighting also. God not going to just give it to you. When they got close to that time, they had to fight for their land. They had to fight for their inheritance. It's not that easy. So he not going to hand it to you. You have to fight for it. So that's what God telling Joshua. When your foot set in that land, you have to fight for that inheritance. And your territory, where it's sent, extend from the desert to land, and from the great river and all headers, country, into the sea in the west side. Now God telling him, I'm going to extend your own territory. You know, I'm going to extend your territory. Once you inherit that land, and now you're going to have a territory in the land. You're going to extend it, And so the boundary of the land are given as, the wilderness. So no one, so God is talking to Joshua, giving him all the insights that he gave to Moses. So God is telling him no one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Now this was Joshua, this was God telling Joshua. Once you enter that land, before you enter that land, God said, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to help y'all fight to get in the land. So God telling him, as a leader, no one is going to be able to stand up against you all the days of your life. Like I was with Moses, I will be with you. And so, and God also said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Joshua's new job consisted on leading more than 2 million people, Israelite, into a strange new land, conquering it, and challenging every new job is a challenge. Without God, this experience can be frightening. So on our journey, On our journey, anything we try to do on our own, it will be frightening. But not with God guiding you on the path. It will not be frightening. We have to follow his lead. And so they said without God, it would be frightening. You know, but with God experience, it can be to guide us to the great adventure. Because see, God plans. See, in God eyesight, He telling us the plan is adventure. The plan is great. The plan is wonderful, but we can't see it. But God knows that He have a plan for someone. It gonna be nice. And we can't see it until we down to get step in it. The Israelite complained the whole time. They couldn't see it. They couldn't see what the plan was about. Until they got in their land. So with God, it can be a great adventure. We just have to. We cannot see with our spiritual eye. We have to imagine it. We have to dream that it is, a good plan. So be strong. Now, God is telling him to be strong and courage because you will lead these people to inherit the land and swore to his ancestors. Now see, Joshua gonna have to lead 2 million people, like Moses. And in Moses' time, it might be more than 2 million. Because they constantly were making babies. And so he telling Joshua to be strong. It might be a lot, because see, Moses' purpose was big. Let you try to lead 200 people on foot, out of the land. And now he got to, try to lead them to the land. That's why God said be strong and be courage. God saying I'm going to lead you all the way. And so God courage, Joshua. He was called to be bold in God. Joshua needed a strong encouragement. God good and encouraged us. Remember Elijah ran away. He couldn't take it no more. But God came and encouraged Elijah and told him, go back and go back the same way you went. I'm going to send you some help, because I'm not done yet. You still got a job to do. God saw him back, encouraged him. It's not over. I still have work for you. And so God always encouraged us. Now he encouraged Joshua. Now he was called to be bold in God. Now Joshua needed to be strong in encouragement. Now he would need God's strength. I had put that out yesterday. They wonder how I do it. You got to have God's strength. We can't do none of this on our own strength because we'll fall down on our face, flat down on our face. You got to have God's strength in your journey, to conquer anything, Canaan. So God's strength to conquer Canaan and divide the land as inheritance to Israel. Because see, when they conquered that land, they still have a whole lot of work to do. They got to divide the land. And Canaan is big. You're going to have to ride the donkey and everything else to get around. Remember Joseph was in Egypt. He was in charge. It would take him 3 days to make his rounds. So be strong and very courage. Now, this is the second time, God telling him to be strong. Because when God give you a big purpose, he gonna bring you through all kind of trials because he wants you to be strong. Be strong and courage. Be careful to obey all the law. My servant Moses give you. He had Moses to write everything down. So God telling Joshua, be careful with all the law that Moses, taught you, because he was assistant. He was under Moses. Now, he know everything that Moses had written down. He told him to be careful. Now, see, that's one thing about God. In order for him to protect you and bless you, you have to obey his law. You have to obey his commandment. So you do not turn from the right or to the left. Now this the law that Moses wrote up. Now he telling Joshua just to stick to it. Don't move it from the left. Don't move it from the right. That you may be successful wherever you go. Now he's saying, if you take hold to this commandment, if you take hold to this law that Moses had, don't toss it on the side. Don't put it under the mattress. Don't put it in the closet. If you take hold of this commandment, don't toss it to the left and the side. Under the table. Take hold of it. Study it. Because you will be successful wherever you go. That's what he's telling Joshua. And so here God telling him to be strong and courage. Now he was told to keep and obey the law, and may be successful wherever you go if you take hold to this law. And so keep this book, of the law always on your lip. That's why I fast, spiritual fast. I read this Bible every day. Every day I read some scriptures in this Bible. So that's what God is telling Joshua. This book of law shall always be on your lips. So he supposed to be studying this law. It's supposed to be on his lip, meaning he supposed to speak it every day. Meditate on it day and night. God want to meditate on it day and night. So that you may be careful, to do everything that's written in it. And then you will be prosperous and successful. Now this book of law, he had to be on his lips every day. He had to meditate on it day and night, in order for him to be prosperous and successful. Now God is telling Joshua, obey his living and his word, that he will prosper and be successful in whatever he do. Whatever Joshua put his hands on, will be blessed by God. When this is what Moses wrote this book of law. Now he had to keep this on his lips, meaning he had to speak on it and study it every day. He don't want to put it on the side, under the table, in a closet. He want him to meditate on it day and night. You will be prosperous and successful. And whatever your hands touch, you will be blessed. Whatever his hands touch, he said Joshua will be blessed. Now, the law your God will be with you wherever you go. So Joshua ordered the officer, official of the people. Now, he took this in. Now, whatever God, all this stuff that God was telling him, he took it in. And he ain't wasting no time. Joshua told he give his men orders. Now this journey here gonna take 3 days. I need y'all to go here. I need you. He started putting his people in order. He started sending them out. So Joshua obeyed God and then ordered his people instruction. He said, go to the camp and tell the people to get your provision ready. It's gonna be a 3-day journey. 3 days. From now, you will cross the Jordan here, to go in and take possession of the land. The land your God is giving you for your own. Now he gonna have his own portion in the land. He gonna have his own portion, and man, we're gonna say he gonna extend, his portion in his territory. Now God told Joshua, go and possess the promised land. He told him, go and possess the promised land. Now he get him all the training. He had training for Moses, but he had to give him an update on everything. All the book of law. Don't just keep it, sitting on the side. You need to meditate on that day and night. Now that's instruction for me and for everybody else. We have to obey God's command. That's why I still be trying to do God's command. Even though it's a slow process or the blessing or the purpose or whatever, I still do my part. Missionary, whatever do this I have to do. That's all part of his command for me to do to when the big stuff come. So we have to, you know, everybody that have a purpose, just like he did with Joshua. It's the same way with me and everybody else. We have to obey God's command, order to move forward, order to touch your hand on everything and be blessed, to be prosperous and successful. This go for all of us. All of us. Now, God had noticed Joshua. Because see, God had picked Joshua. God had picked Joshua, for him to start training under Moses. Because when they had to send out spies, Joshua was one of the spies. They came back, they had other guys with them too. But Joshua and Cleo, their head was like, the other guys had said, no, we can't take them in. But when Joshua came, oh yes, we could take them. See, the other guy said they was big and we was like cockroaches and all that under them. But Joshua said no. Joshua said no, we could take them. We could take this in. We got this in. And see, God noticed his good deed. God noticed that he wasn't afraid of the giant. See, just like David was. David said, I could take that giant. And Saul told him, that's out of your league. But God said no. But God always will give somebody young or inexperienced or whatever. It's all about your faith and confidence. You have to have faith to embrace a giant, and you have to have confidence in God that you can do it. David had confidence. He had confidence in God and he had faith. He had enough faith to go out there to stand up against that giant. And see, that's how Joshua was. And God had looked at that. Joshua was like, no, we can take this. He has faith and he had confidence in God that we can take them giants. They had, all of them was like tall and had this big old fence around. But Joshua said, no, we can take this in. We can go in and take and possess our land. And so God had noticed him. So when it was time that Moses got old, God had picked Joshua and said, he is the perfect man that you start training Joshua. So that's all I have. Joseph was he was assistant of Moses. He was training under Moses. Moses had got to a certain age. He had put Joshua in spot. And so God has explained to him everything he had for Moses. He have set for him. Wherever Moses went, I'm gonna be wherever you go. And so the same thing God had for Moses, he put the same thing with Joshua. Joshua had to run 2 million people. They had to possess their land. And so that's all I have for you today. That's all I have for today. I see y'all on the next video.